Hello and welcome to Where No Pod Has Gone Before, a science fiction pop culture podcast, I guess you'd call it. I'm here with my co-host Tyson. I'm Julian, and so we'll do a little introduction of ourselves to start this off.
Yeah, hello there. I'm Titan. Julian and I been friends for a while now, since high school. We were just talking about the shenanigans that we would get up to in the back of maths class during high school. Spent most of that time talking about sci-fi, I suppose, instead of doing mathematics like we should have been doing.
That's where this all started. I would have introduced you definitely to Doctor Who.
Yes.
Not sure about Star Trek.
I think we sort of spoke about Star Trek. I remember you definitely introduced me to Blade Runner and Terminator.
Yes.
And Doctor Who. That was definitely sort of what came out of those maths classes. Star Trek, I sort of got into more after high school, but we definitely spoke about it, I think.
Yeah. And obviously, between all these sessions, there were, frequent sleepovers where I'd break out all the DVDs and show you all these good things.
Exactly. It was always, I can't believe you haven't watched that movie, man. Right, let's complete your education. Yeah.
And pausing every 20 minutes to explain what was going on, or like some neat bit of trivia, which is, I'm sure how this is going to go.
Especially Blade Runner,
yeah. We had a power failure during Blade Runner, didn't we? Wasn't that?
Load shedding. Yeah, probably something like that. I do actually remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to finish it in the morning.
Yes, yeah, that's why it didn't make sense.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but so for this show, we're just going to be talking about, sci-fi, things we love in that world going forward. But we're going to be approaching it from both our kind of areas. So for me, I'm in, I guess you would say, in the film world. I've always been film obsessed, and I studied a big part of my academic training was in film. So that will be my side of things, will be the media perspective on these things that we watch. Titan, as for you.
Yeah, so I'm postgraduate physics student, so I'm very much into my science, specifically into astronomy, currently in astrophysics. So I'm definitely the type of guy who watches these sci-fi shows and tries to poke holes in things and recognizes the terms and all of that. So I will be trying to offer the perspective of the science in the fiction, I suppose, trying to see what's interesting about it, see what's right, see what's wrong. Not in a stupid way. I mean, a lot of people have done it before where they just poke holes in things and try and rip things apart. I don't think that's what sci-fi is. I think it can take some liberties with science and stuff. I mean, it's science fiction after all. So I'm definitely not going to try and do a Neil deGrasse Tyson where he comes in and ruins everyone's favorite movies. But I'm hoping to bring the science aspect into the discussions. Yeah.
As an aside, do you know the story of him and the Titanic night sky?
I think I've heard something about it, but go on.
So he basically proved to James Cameron, like went up to him and then showed him that the night sky during the sinking scenes was incorrect, because this is stuff that you can just check, right? It's pretty simple.
Right, yeah.
And then,
it probably wasn't even a real night sky. It was just specks of light.
Yeah, well, it's just a studio, and exactly. Yeah. And then for all the re-releases and stuff. So if you buy the most up-to-date Blu-ray, the night sky is actually accurate.
They changed. My goodness, that's brilliant. That's actually brilliant. That's brilliant. Taking the criticism on the chin. Nice.
Yeah, but when you have money like that, I suppose you can.
But you see, exactly. I hope I'm not going to be that nitpicky, but hopefully bring in the science aspect to the discussion. Yeah.
We're going to get in the weeds, but not as deep in the weeds as the night sky accuracy.
Exactly.
In Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a hardcore astronomy fan, and I would never have picked anything like that up.
Yeah, and so maybe we can talk a little bit about why we love sci-fi, why it's special, and why this is worth doing for us. Sorry, not to us. So
first stage it is.
Yeah. So for me, uh, I love all kinds of genres, and sci-fi is a little bit different from the other genres. So when you have horror, I think in horror, your benchmark is it scary? Are the deaths entertaining? Are they
Right.
creative?
Yeah.
Okay, I like your horror film because I was, my heart rate went up. A comedy is it funny? If it's funny, then you've made a good comedy film. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Things like that. Sci-fi is very hard
Right.
to pin down in that way. Um, you can't say, "Are your ideas interesting? Is your story world well thought out?" I mean, sometimes a sci-fi film is just plainly a horror film, a creature in space on a space station or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it is a hard thing to get down, but it is a genre of real ideas and imagination. And I think it was probably the same for you as the kid. It was that imaginative aspect that brought me in. And then you keep coming back for the ideas, and you get older and you come back and you think about, okay, now Blade Runner is talking about, the depth of humanity. And so it's an endlessly
Right. Yeah.
rewarding and rich genre that
There's layers that you didn't even pick up when you watch things as a kid. Yeah.
exactly. Those are the layers that we hope to be peeling back going forward.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
And as for you?
Yeah, so I think obviously as you mentioned, I mean the first thing that comes to mind when we speak about sci-fi as a kid is always Back to the Future. I mean, watching that as a kid, I mean it was as if that movie was written for me. It's like exactly the sort of thing that I had wanted to imagine myself being a part of. So yeah, that's definitely how I sort of got drawn into the genre initially as well, is just the pure sort of, I suppose, escapism and imaginative free, you've got no boundaries as to what you can come up with. But then, yeah, I mean, I remember with Star Trek specifically, sort of watching it when I was younger and as a teenager and sort of kind of getting into it, but not really, sort of being like, this is okay. But, at that stage, I was definitely more of a Star Wars fan and wasn't really into Star Trek. It was only after sort of high school that I started to really understand those deeper layers of Star Trek and realize that it's pretty much not even about the science fiction at all. It's more about like the moral dilemmas and the commentary on society and real world problems and everything. And I think that's why I love sci-fi so much, is because it allows you to analyze and explore ideas without exploring them directly. So it's never about racism or sexism or any real world problems, but there's, instead of racism, it's prejudice towards an alien species or something. And it allows you to sort of step back and really get a perspective and an unbiased viewpoint on real world issues. So yeah, I think that's why I've really gotten into sci-fi recently, is because it has all those layers. There's still that imaginative, fun aspect of it where it's lasers and space and whatever, but there's that ability to make commentary and explore complex ideas that are in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything you've just said. You have all of that, and then you still have the window dressing of heroes and villains fighting with laser swords. And,
Exactly.
and
You get that
big
reward at
spaceships
the end
with,
of all of
exactly,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's all good. As for this show going forward, what we hope to do is bring weekly episodes of discussion and commentary on a chosen subject matter of the week. But we will be starting with the new Star Trek flagship show, Star Trek Starfleet Academy. We're gonna make that mistake of Star Trek Academy quite a few times.
Yes, definitely.
The premiere is this week with the first two episodes. So obviously on Monday we'll be back talking about those first two episodes. We won't be going episode by episode. We're going to be doing a 2-3-3-2 format for the whole first season of 10 episodes. But we will be here weekly, or as best to our abilities. So we'll be talking about movies, maybe some books in there. We'll also be discussing news as it comes out. There's also a ton of exciting new releases this year, including, I don't know if you saw this on our document, but the return of Gore Verbinski, who did the original Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy,
Oh,
who hasn't directed
right,
a
yeah.
film in 9 years, and he has
Oh, damn.
a
Okay.
time travel, like, kind of dark comedy called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, about a time traveler's come back from the future to warn us how not to end the world. He's come back to
Okay.
a diner. And this was filmed in Cape Town.
Oh,
So
well,
some of the
that's
people I met,
50% of the film, isn't it, there?
yeah, and some of the people I met while working in the Cape Town film industry last year are in this. So this is a little personal investment for me.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, is it coming out
So
this year?
yes, like
Okay.
mid-February. So that's just an example of something
Soon.
that, yeah, that's just an example of something that we'll be discussing. Yeah, but for now, that's all about Star Trek. So feelings on modern Star Trek. How are we on that? The general state of affairs.
Yeah. So, I mean, my sort of, I suppose, the one weak link in my Star Trek chain is I haven't watched the full extent of Discovery yet
Me neither.
because, oh, okay, good. I'm glad to know that because I started. I think I got through the first two seasons or something, and it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just I got bored at some stage. Definitely a sort of, generally speaking, a golden era is the sort of 90s, early 2000s for Star Trek. Next Gen, Voyager, DS9. That's sort of when it peaked for me. So everything that comes afterwards, I do sort of feel is it's not quite the same. It's trying to capture the spirit that it had at that time. However, with Star Trek, it's always been the thing for me is that I'm always expecting the next series to disappoint me. Finally, I watched the original series, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, this is a classic. Of course, it was good, but everything after this is going to be terrible. And then I watched Next Generation, and I was like, well, geez, how could I have been so wrong? And then I did some research. I'm like, okay, but everyone likes Next Gen. DS9 is definitely going to disappoint me now. And I mean, come on, all right? You could have a whole podcast just on that, right? So every time I start a new Star Trek series, I'm like, okay, this is finally going to be it. This is going to be the one which is bad. And I'm humbled every single time, because I am a huge fan of Strange New Worlds. I still have to get through the rest of the last season, but I think it's done some really awesome stuff. I think it feels like Star Trek again. So yeah, I think modern Trek is uncertain, but it's hard to disappoint me when it comes to Star Trek, I think.
Well, as for me, I think it's more of a mixed bag. Because you say that, you use the phrase feels like Trek.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think a lot of the time, I'm not sure that what the creators think feels like Trek is what, for me, feels like Trek. I
Okay.
think there's a lot of emphasis on action and, end of the universe type threats,
Yeah, yeah.
which is not. If it's the end of the universe, it's somehow less dramatically interesting to me.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
there's not. It's not very much people talking in a room. Star Trek.
Right, because Star Trek is supposed to be about small issues. Actually, it's like, okay, how are we going to
Exactly.
sort this tiny little issue out morally without upsetting everyone and without compromising our own principles and all of that? It's not always universe ending, as you say.
Yeah, and there are some. They fall into some of the traps of modern TV that I also don't like. So the first one being that there's a big reliance on cinematic quality special effects. And
Ah,
I think
right.
as
Yeah.
fans, we will happily say that we will accept the contract of, give me 20 episodes of Strange New Worlds a year
Right.
for worse special effects that they don't have to
Yes. Absolutely.
do all the effects work, that takes them so much time and so much money.
Yeah.
So
I mean, same
I
thing
don't
with
think
Doctor Who.
we don't want that, the same thing with
Yeah.
Doctor Who, exactly. And this is real like nerdy stuff now, but I hate that everything is widescreen now,
Uh, okay.
because widescreen was a thing created in the 50s to compete with television. So you would go to the cinema and the screen would be
Uh,
as wide as your field of vision. But if you just put it on a TV, all you're doing is losing pixel real estate. So you just have
yeah,
less
exactly. You've always
image.
got the black bars and stuff
Yeah, they're
above.
just
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this for themselves. And it's like cinematically, it's very difficult. It's more difficult to compose for a widescreen image than a standard,
yeah.
16:9
It
ratio
sort of
image, in
it
my opinion.
sort of feels a little bit less personal, I suppose. It's sort of it's almost like it's zoomed out.
But it's a cheap shorthand to
Right.
look
Yeah.
more cinematic.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what it's being
Yeah.
used for. You know, this is going to sound harsh, but TV directors work in TV for a reason, and they're not good enough to make it stick on this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like stick to your lane. Yeah.
Maybe a bit more emphasis on kind of the writing and the theatrics, and small scale drama. And do you remember an
Right.
episode of Next Generation called The Drumhead?
Oh yes, I think it was one of the best. Was it the where Data was on trial?
No, it is one where there's a trial. There's
Yeah.
like a cadet or something on board, and
Yes. Yes. It's like a cadet or something.
and his
Yes, that's
grandfather's
right.
Romulan, and he lied on his Starfleet application. Now there's a
Yes.
whole witch hunt, and he
Yes.
sabotaged the ship or
And then
something.
the admiral just gets up and walks out that room. Jesus.
They would never.
One of the biggest power moves I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my life.
They would never make that episode today. They would never make
No.
an episode like that. Which
You're
is
right.
entirely Picard convincing people that they're wrong about something.
And I mean, I always say with sci-fi, when you've got an episode or a movie which has got some form of a trial, you're in for a treat. You know, I mean, if you think
Exactly.
of the Planet of the Apes, the original movie, I mean, there's a half of that movie is a trial proving whether trying to establish whether as a human he's deserving of rights and whatever. And the drumhead, as you say, there's also a few other trials in Star Trek. All of the trials are always where you get the really meaty moral dilemmas. So, and yeah, you're right. They would never be able to sell to the producers. They would never be able to sell that idea
Yeah.
in modern Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exciting enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking a trial is a really good setting to have a monologue. Because like the arguments, it's just built in that there's a monologue.
Exactly.
There. It's just
Exactly.
immediately justified.
Exactly. Like various characters in the trial are going to get an opportunity to make a monologue at some stage.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah,
get
no,
all these
exactly.
different perspectives, and they're all going to bounce off each other.
Exactly. So when you've got a trial in a sci-fi setting, yeah, that's when you're about to get into the really meaty, gritty stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but as we said, they don't. They wouldn't do that kind of stuff in modern Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a shortcoming of having so few episodes a year. You know,
Right,
if
exactly.
you have 25, you can do
Everyone has
a
to be
bunch of
punchy.
different. Yeah, every character will get their time in the spotlight. You have all different kinds of stories, all different kinds of problems.
Yeah.
If one week's episode is bad, you just wait for next week. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
if
Yeah.
an episode of Strange New Worlds is bad, that's 10% of your season already.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've always with like Next Gen and DS9 and stuff. You're right. It's you only realize sort of halfway through it. You're like, damn, this has been good. You know, like even if you can't point to specific episodes, like obviously there's always specific episodes which are really good, but the rest are just. I've always said that about Star Trek is its strength is in being consistently good.
Yeah.
You never have a bad episode in TNG and DS9 and all of that. All of them they're just good. And if you have consistently good after good after good after good, at the end of the season, you're like, geez, that was brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, as you say, if you've only got 10 episodes and 3 of them are bad, then you're like, yeah, okay, 70%, right?
3 of them are bad and 4 of them are comedy episodes.
Yeah, very
It doesn't feel very
musicals
balanced.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that we're against those, but
No, not that we're against them at all. But yeah, it would be better if there were 20 episodes.
yeah. Should we do a quick rundown of where we are in Star Trek, what we've seen, what we've yet to see?
Yeah, all right.
what we feel about it, I guess, very quickly.
Yeah. So I've watched original series, I've watched Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, I've watched Enterprise. Oh, and I'm big fan of the animated series. Can't leave that one
Of
out.
course.
Kirk is a jerk. Still want to get that shirt. Oh my goodness. But then I'm not sure how many seasons are there of Lower Decks. Is it 5?
It is 5, yeah.
Yeah. You see, I think I've watched at least 3, maybe 4. I don't think I've finished it. And then, as I mentioned just now, I think I either did the first 2 seasons of Discovery, or I feel like I was 1 or 2 episodes from the end. I'm still planning on rewatching that at some stage soon, but didn't manage it the first time round. And then Strange New Worlds, as I said, I'm still busy with the 3rd season. It's the 3rd season, right? I think
Yeah, they just
I've
finished
done
the
3
third season.
episodes. Yeah. Right, yeah. So I think I've done 2 or 3 episodes. Two episodes because I watched them on the plane.
Oh, of course.
So yeah, maybe didn't do them justice, but it was good, yeah. And I think that's all of Star Trek that I can think of.
Picard. You've done Picard as well.
Oh, Picard, yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Picard. I know you don't like the 2nd season, hey?
I think the 2nd season of Picard is the worst Star Trek ever made.
I mean,
that actually, one thing that really irritates me about that season is something that you spoke about with when you can get into these ideas of sci-fi without actually
Yeah.
engaging with them. They go back in time to our present day, and then they just deal with like immigration police.
yeah,
And
right.
it's like
Yeah, no,
there's no
exactly. It
metaphor.
doesn't.
They just
Yeah.
do it. Like
No, you're right. Exactly. They directly addressing
Yeah.
the issue instead of creating some creative sci-fi way of addressing it. No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's actually spot
I
on.
mean, they went because they had to time travel to save money that season.
Mm,
Yeah, and that's why most of it
yeah.
looked like it was filmed in a car park.
Yeah, and I think that's the season as well where they tried to come up with some nonsense reason why it's called 10 forward instead of just being on the forward of deck 10.
Yeah, because it was a street address.
Yeah.
Guinan was young.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
But didn't Guinan get sent back in time with Mark Twain or something in Next Gen?
Yeah.
And live through that anyway? It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
We don't
Who
really
knows?
need to think about those seasons.
No,
They
exactly.
saved themselves with season 3.
Yes, exactly. Season 3 was an absolute banger.
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, as for me, I've seen the big 3: original series, Next Gen, and DS9. And they're all obviously all time.
Yeah.
Now I'm currently struggling through Voyager.
Struggling. Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those
What
things
season
where
are you on?
still season 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I see the next episode and I'm like, do I really want to?
Especially in the early seasons, I think like the first 2 or 3 seasons, there's literally a few episodes where I'm like, wasn't this a Next Gen episode? Like, I'm sure they did exactly this.
That's the problem with the show. They have this wonderful setup, and then they turn it into Next Gen with new aliens.
Yeah.
And the alien makeup is tough because they're really struggling for ideas, I think.
What, on the Kazons?
Or just on whatever random planet they go to. The makeup is just a random thing on the forehead or something.
Stick with it though, because obviously, what I was waiting for with Voyager is, of course, the Borg. So you get to the Borg at some stage. And 7 of 9 and all of that. So it definitely warms up. I mean, Enterprise was similar to that as well. First, like 2 seasons didn't really feel very Star Trek. They felt sci-fi, but they didn't feel Star Trek. And then suddenly it warmed up, and I'm heartbroken they canceled that show.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for Enterprise. I've heard that season 3 is an all-timer.
Yeah, exactly. Season 3 is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I sort of
the core 5. Those. TOS to Enterprise. We'll have those ticked off. Will be.
And you've got to go in that order as well. Like Enterprise is the least important.
Release order.
You need to watch Voyager first. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And as for the other ones, Lower Decks, I've done all of.
Okay.
It's a nice show, not lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, but I like it because they often do they poke fun at Star Trek in a way that you're like, oh, this is coming from Star Trek themselves, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's loving.
it's
It's
exactly, yeah,
loving teasing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, but there is an element of that show where, I'll look up some of the episodes and I'll just have no memory of having watched it, even though I know I can see on my Prime account that it's been watched. I think that
right,
stands to some of the, just the flaw in that formula is that the people who are facing the most interesting dilemmas are the captains of these ships,
yes,
you know,
yeah, of course,
because they're
yeah. The
making the
lower
calls, and
decks
then
are boring.
and then it's interesting to us as a viewer why they're making certain calls,
Yeah, yeah,
that's what
yeah.
we want to
The
see.
captains are the ones dealing with the morals and the ethics and
Exactly.
the conundrums.
Exactly.
Whereas, yeah, the lower decks are just getting orders and stuff. But I mean, I love that the one time when I can't remember the characters' names, but I think the first officer or security officer or something died, and then he just like came back the next episode, and they're like, "Oh, he came back," and it's like, yeah, you just don't ask about that, man. Like these guys always come back. I
Well, you
love
have
that. There was like no explanation given.
when they go like 1,000 years in the future or something, and then there's a group of school children being like, "Okay, kids, and who was the most important person in Starfleet history?"
Yes,
Chief Miles O'Brien.
Chief Miles O'Brien. I'm like, finally, the recognition.
And then we have the church bell next to my place. I don't know if you can pick
Yes,
that
yeah,
up.
nice,
But,
nice.
yeah. You just have to
European
acknowledge
atmosphere.
it if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but maybe going into Star Trek Starfleet Academy now. As I said, it's the new flagship show for the franchise. Strange New Worlds are slowly coming to an end. Season 4 will be later this year, and then next year will be a shortened 6 or 8 episode season, apparently.
Ah,
I think
okay.
6
Okay.
episodes. So
And then that's it?
ramping down. Obviously, Discovery has ended. So Starfleet
Yeah.
Academy is going to be the big one, spearheading the franchise going forward. So a lot of pressure on this show. Some background.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I need some
So
background.
this is taking place in the 32nd century, I want to say, after the end of Discovery, when they go there. I believe there has been a universe-wide calamitous event relating to a pandemic or something. This was a story thing in Discovery relating to COVID. So, but after this time, we have some characters from Discovery. One of them I recognize would be Tilly. I believe her name is Cadet Tilly. And we also have.
Oh yes. Okay, that's where I knew I recognized her from somewhere. Yeah. I was like, who? Do I just recognize the actress or is she a character? Yeah, but I think I know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have the Doctor from Voyager.
Yes,
I'm
very excited
canonically
about that.
the same Doctor as the one on Voyager.
Fantastic.
I don't know what that will mean going forward for the show. Obviously, you haven't seen where that character arc goes in Voyager.
Yeah. But I mean, not to spoil anything, but because obviously, characters grow over a series. But I've been watching the clips that have been released for Academy. They've made the Doctor grumpy again, which I'm really loving because that's sort of how he was in the first season, and then obviously he sort of becomes a more likable character as time goes on. But he's like really sort of grumpy and like not really taking anyone's nonsense. So I'm really excited for him. I think it's going to be good.
Maybe he's grumpy being around all these happy-go-lucky teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. I can imagine it's the exact sort of thing which would piss him off.
But yeah, obviously this is the furthest forward that Star Trek has ever been, I think.
Right, okay.
Timeline-wise. And for me, there are a few exciting things about this. I think a lot of people have wanted for a long time to see some kind of focus on Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you can get out of that. I do think there is an interesting angle seeing the experiences that make these people into good officers.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing which sort of I noticed from watching some of the trailers is that they're obviously not going to be limited to what's only happening in the Academy, because it seemed like they were still on the bridge of a ship going out exploring and whatever.
Well, the ship is the Academy now. That's the big thing. It is a ship, yeah.
Really? So they're not, because I mean, I've been seeing
They
it
do.
in
I
San
mean,
Francisco and all of
I
that.
think they'll start in San Francisco, and then they'll take off, and then
Okay.
the music
Okay,
will
that's
swell
not
up,
bad.
and we'll get beautiful shots of the ship as it goes off.
Okay, that makes sense actually.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not bad. So then we might get a good mix then of sort of every day in the academy and then also
Planet of the
encounters
Week,
with
hopefully.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, nice.
But that actually brings me back to another um, quibble I have with modern Trek,
Mm.
uh, and it's the way people speak. And I worry that with
Ugh,
this show, they're going to be on the bridge, and it's going to be a red alert situation, and then you're going to have people
yes.
at the con making jokes.
Yes, absolutely.
I
I definitely get that sense from what I've seen. Yeah.
we are going to get that, aren't we?
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
imagine the bridge of the Enterprise D and someone was making jokes in a red alert situation? They'll
Picard
be
would not have
confined to
it, man.
quarters so quickly.
No, I mean, you were saying the other day as well, using the first names, like on the bridge when
Yeah,
you're in the middle of battle or whatever.
drives me insane.
And I mean, I still tend to call him, Commander Data and Captain Picard. I don't
Yeah,
call him Jean-Luc. He
no one
deserves
calls
more
him
respect than
Jean-Luc.
that.
That's only in Picard
So,
that everyone calls him Jean-Luc all of a sudden.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I even refer to a lot of the characters by their official titles on occasion. And yeah, I completely agree with that. That like it's fine when they're all, in Strange New Worlds, all cooking in
Exactly.
the captain's quarters and whatever, and being all casual. But then you need to switch it, and because that was always the thing that I loved as well between like Kirk's relationship with McCoy, for example, is that they were like mates, they were best mates. But then like when it really came down to it, Kirk would give an order and McCoy would follow it. There was like it was like, okay, these guys are still actually in a chain of command. It is still Starfleet.
Yeah, they're professionals doing a job.
Exactly, exactly. And they can be mates at the same time, but at the end of the day, then, yeah, it needs to switch. And yeah,
Exactly.
no, I reckon that that's not going to happen in this show.
Yeah, I mean, they could go a route where they do it and then they sort of take it out of the cadets, where the commissioner of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
school
that
will
would be
be like,
great.
oh,
Yeah.
we don't speak like that on the bridge, but I don't think that's going to happen. But
No,
one
I don't
thing,
think so.
well, two things that I'm really excited about is the casting. So obviously the show is
Yeah.
headed by the school commissioner, whose character name I forget, but it's Holly Hunter.
Right.
So this is an Oscar-winning actress,
Okay.
and the main villain of the season is Paul Giamatti playing this. I think it's a Klingon hybrid,
Oh,
two-time Oscar nominee.
yes.
So these
Yeah,
are
yeah,
actors
yeah.
of genuine pedigree.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
I mean, I just
you'd know
watched
Holly
him. He
Hunter.
was.
Yeah, sorry, you'd know Holly Hunter, I think, as the voice of Elastigirl from The Incredibles.
Oh, no
Yeah,
ways. Oh, I can hear it now. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
No ways. No ways.
With
No, and
that
I mean, I
southern
just
drawl.
watched the other guy that you mentioned. I just watched him in the latest Downton film. Obviously, I don't know if you
Oh
watched
yeah,
Downton
yeah,
Abbey.
yeah. I remember.
He's the uncle or whatever, and there he's like this really mild mannered pushover sort of guy, and now suddenly he's this like cocky villain and everything, and I'm like, whoa, if you've got that sort of versatility as an actor, it's exciting.
But he's a great big nerd. He told a
Okay.
story on a round table, I think, a few years ago. So he was cast in the 2001 Planet of the Apes, or he was offered a role or something.
Okay.
And he tells the story of, he calls his agent and he says, "You have to get me a part of an ape." And the agent's like, "No, but they're not going to see you. You're not going to build your profile, and you're going to be buried in all this makeup." It's like, yes, I want the makeup. I want to be in the makeup chair. I want to play an ape in Planet of the Apes. So I'm
Nice.
assuming that he's obviously he's known as a big Star Trek fan. I'm assuming
Right.
that he's saying, "I want to be, an alien. I want to have the Klingon makeup and stuff."
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's not afraid to get dirty. He wants to
yeah,
get
this is a guy
his.
who's going to throw
Yeah.
himself into this. So this is an exciting,
Right.
a hugely exciting part of this season.
Yeah. No, what you see in the trailers looks exciting with
Yeah.
that guy.
But yeah, some of the other hang-ups. I'm a little worried about. A little worried about a universe scale threat
Yeah,
again.
yeah, and then being solved by cadets. Sort
You know
of.
what's actually going to happen?
Yeah.
The school commissioner is going to die halfway through the season, and then the cadets,
Yes.
through the power of friendship and togetherness, will save the day at the end. That's what's going to
Through the
happen.
power of friendship. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mark this
Jeez.
down.
Yeah,
We'll meet
the
you in 10
predictions,
weeks
sealed
time.
envelope. No, please no.
Yeah, but some of that. I'm also a little bit worried about some of that teeny angst aspect of it. It's going to be there.
Right.
I
Yes,
think that
yeah.
it's part of the understanding going in that we're going to get that, but I don't want it to dominate the show.
Yeah, and I mean it can work because I mean, look at DS9. We always say that the best episodes of DS9 are the random ones, which are about nothing, where they're just like going about their day and like doing random stuff.
I'm chilling with Vic Fontaine.
Yeah, exactly. You see, so I mean, it can work if it's done correctly. We want to see everyday lives of people in the Star Trek universe. If done correctly, it can work. So, as you say, we are expecting that sort of aspect because it's Academy. We're going to get the sort of high school drama type of
Some
thing.
romance probably.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it can work if it's done correctly, but yeah, it's risky.
Yeah, risky's right.
It can be fumbled.
Yeah. As for rounding out the rest of the cast, for me, it's a lot of unknown young actors. I mean, obviously, this is the platform to build their careers
Right,
on.
yeah.
But there was a little bit of controversy a few months ago when the first trailer came out because there was a female Jem'Hadar working in the academy. So this is from the second trailer. It looks like that she's a kind
Okay.
of security combat
Right.
trainer.
I didn't even realize that she was a Jem'Hadar. Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, this is half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar, which might
Okay.
get around the
Get
no
around
female,
the whole thing.
the
Yeah.
no female
Yeah.
Jem'Hadar thing. But as a,
Does she have the
it's not
the
worth
thing in
getting
her
upset
neck?
over.
Does she have the tube in her neck with the
I
whatever it's
didn't
called,
notice that.
Ketracel White?
So what? Yeah, I didn't notice that. Maybe the Klingon part of her needs to eat normally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I hadn't even because I remember you telling me about that at some stage, and I'd forgotten about it. I was just like, oh, this is just some alien.
Yeah, but it's an
Yeah, okay.
internet thing that people got upset about. But I don't think it's worth getting upset over yet. The show's not out, and I think they're obviously going to write themselves out of that problem. It's
obviously,
also
I mean,
it's like
they need to address it at some stage.
But it's also like what 600, 700 years after DS9.
Right. Yeah.
So there will be some.
So the Jem'Hadar have had their human rights revolution, and yeah.
Well, any other final thoughts on Academy?
Not really. I suppose, as I said, I'm always worried with the new Star Trek series, but then I'm always pleasantly surprised. So I'm sort of expecting it to do something like that. I'm also expecting it to take a little while to find its feet. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to hit it out the park right in the first season. But I mean, any idea how many seasons they're going to make yet?
No word on that, but I mean,
okay,
they're definitely going to be looking at season 2 because obviously there are other big shows going to be ending next year.
Yeah, so they need something else. Yeah,
that'll leave one live action Trek going.
Right.
All right. There's no other. I'm not forgetting anything, Emma.
No, I don't think so.
So, who knows? Maybe they'll finally do Star Trek Legacy, the sequel to Picard that everyone wants.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll do yet another prequel. Yeah. Excited for the show. Excited for the pod going forward.
Yeah, very excited. Yeah. And I'm not sure if we actually mentioned at the beginning that we are going to be speaking about Star Trek a lot, but I mean, speaking about many other shows and movies and stuff as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, just wait till we get some new Doctor Who again.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, what I'm quite excited for is all you've got a whole lot of anniversaries for various movies and stuff that we're planning on watching throughout the year.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. I mean, a lot of them I have seen, a lot of them I haven't seen. So keen to get into all of that.
Anniversaries, new releases. Also, we've spoken about a major sci-fi movie that is set in 2026. So
oh yes,
that'll
right.
come up, I think, as well. So a lot of exciting things on the horizon.
Yeah. We will be going where no pod has gone before.
Thanks again, everyone, for listening. And we will be back on Monday talking about the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Cool. Cheers.
Well, live long and prosper.